Luke, how do you sum up the night tonight? It was a pretty back and forth game. What's your main takeaways?
Playing obviously a very good side in the Cats, and you need a fair bit to go right. Felt like it was a night that was sort of never really had any momentum, but really pleasing, and that our boys persevered and they changed on the run a little bit and challenged the Cats. I mean, we probably just didn't get enough supply early in the game, and Geelong probably owned the territory a little bit with what they were doing and got us with some of their cleaner open field plays. But I mean, ultimately, it's a it's a loss where it could have been anyone's, even though the margin was sort of the 3 goals or so in their favour for most of the night. I'm really pleased we didn't go away, and and obviously it's a woulda, coulda, shoulda, but if the game goes for a bit longer, you never know. So that's a good sign for us.
Did you feel right in it at three-quarter time? Because late in the third quarter, you're 26 points behind. But if you look at their schedule, they've been here twice in 2 weeks, 2 games this week. Did you feel at three-quarter time that you were really coming?
Are you talking about maybe the fatigue in their legs?
Yeah,
or?
Yeah.
I suppose it's in the back of your mind a little bit, but I wasn't putting it down to necessarily them dropping off. I just felt like we were a smidgen away. They've got to, we miss the 2 goals, and they went all the way up the other end from kick-ins, and the one where Sammy and the one from Latham, and we just weren't set up defensively on those longer, quicker points, and they just ripped it through, and that was the game. So it felt like it was sliding doors to a degree, all night. And I just felt like centre bounce was a factor in the first half, and then our mids and our rucks evened that up as the game went on, and that helped. But I never felt like we weren't in it, and the boys, we need to pride ourselves in the fact that no matter what the scoreboard is, we're not going to go away, and that was the case tonight. But I'm not sure how the Cats are going as far as their fatigue levels.
You get a magnificent game from Liver. The captain stands up. Liam Jones blankets Tomahawk. Sam Darcy kicks 3 goals. Was it just those moments with their cleaner possession that made the difference, do you think, tonight?
A little bit. I think, some of the balls that slipped out, or we at centre bounce, or at a stoppage or two, we went backwards initially and they came straight out the front, and that hurt. So I think those moments, and without the layer to stop that, because we'd overcommitted, that was a fair, I suppose, factor in the game. But there's positives in some of the individual games. There was strong leadership and voice and follow through with actions for a lot of our players, and so it's definitely a lot of positives. It's always difficult when the loss makes it a bit pretty bitter, but there's we'll take some of those positive factors into this week and look to draw on them against the Bombers on Friday night.
What was your reaction to that Stengel goal when it looked like he'd marked it over the line? There was a video review. He gets paid the mark. He kicks a goal and you lose by 4 points.
Yeah, look, I mean, with the goal review stuff or the score review stuff, I suppose you almost make a commitment to yourself as a coach not to get caught up in it. It is what it is, and at the time, obviously I can see the replay, but you just accept that whatever decisions are being made are the right ones. If it was actually a mark, then they deserve the goal. That's probably the way I look at it. So I don't know if there's any conjecture outside of that, but at the time I just thought, well, if he's marked it in front of the line or any part of the line, then they deserve it. So that was, and that's the way I processed it.
Can you take us inside the decision to make McRae start tonight?
Just part of the selection process. Yeah, I mean, as I've said before, we've missed. We've been punched out in an elimination final a couple of years ago. We've missed finals last year. We have to evolve. We have to make sure we get experience into the likes of Riley Sanders and Harvey Gallagher, and make sure those small forwards who are playing really well for us in Latham and Westy and Cody aren't, I suppose, substituted for a mid who can spend a little bit of time there. We need balance in our team, and I suppose there's not an infinite amount of midfield time that we can throw around, and we've probably done that in the past where we didn't have the resources, the players who can play those forward roles and the wing roles accordingly. So it's meant that there's this pressure through the team for spots, and and that's what's transpired. So this week, based on last week, Jack did okay, but this is a week for him to be sub.
Speaking of evolution, what goes through your mind with Sam Darcy's game and Ugle-Hagan early in that last quarter, so close to busting it open for you?
Yeah, it's important that I'll talk about persistence and perseverance. The young boys just keeping their chin up and knowing that they can make a difference, and they had their sort of critical moments again tonight. And Mara, who probably started off the quality in his game probably wasn't there, and for him to finish off like he did was good, really good for him and encouraging. And Sam's another one of the boys who we need experience pumped into him as far as playing him at AFL level, and it's important that everyone understands we want to win every week, and we want to evolve really quickly into a team that is one of the main challenges, and I think Buku played another strong game with Jonesy as those key defensive options for us, terrific intercept games, and so there's some growth coming through those younger guys, and you just got to keep searching for the chemistry in the whole mix, and it was sort of there at different times tonight, and the Cats will frustrate you with that, and that happened. But in the end, I think what happened last year, we were able to score in first halves early in games. We didn't necessarily score too well second halves. I think we're a team that's covering the ground better. I think we're quicker. I think we can, as the season goes on, as long as we stay healthy, we can continue to challenge to the line, the last minute of the last quarter. So again, there's encouraging signs tonight. Whether Geelong were a bit fatigued or we were just coming, it doesn't really matter to me. It was a hell of a lot better way to finish off than the surprise we got in round one.
Bevo, just on Jacko again, he's obviously had an interrupted start to the year with that hamstring in February. Do you still see him as someone who'll be in your best 22 the longer this season goes on?
Yeah, look, I think at some point, depending on the circumstances around selection and where players are playing in their roles, it's I think Josh, you might ask me the question the other day whether he and Harmsy can play in the same team. And I said emphatically yes. It just depends on the availability of our group and who's playing through the different roles. And so when you consider sort of the mainstays who are playing through there at the moment, and the different blend with the younger kids coming through, who are different types of players to Jacko, he'll obviously play important roles throughout the course of the year, but it'll definitely depend on the availability of our core midfield group and who Jack's a part of, and the consensus at match committee. And this week, it was Jacko, and then obviously Caleb was the one subbed off, and it was a bit of a like for like swap. So we'll just keep working through that.
You spoke about main challenges before. I mean, you guys are 2-2 now in the season. The losses you had against Melbourne and Geelong, do you consider them to be sort of the main challenges you're looking to beat this season?
Two of the better sides, you mean? Or you'd have to say that it's without doubt that Melbourne based on history and based on their form line at the moment, are absolutely one of the sides who are benchmarking and going well. And Geelong, are they 4-0? I think they're undefeated, so it's looking like they're going to be a team that's that's probably going to be there at the pointy end again. So you know, we go off. I said the other day that it's not until you really get to around 15 or 16 that you can tell who are probably the teams to beat, who are going to be in the upper echelon of the ladder. So it's still pretty early, but both teams have got a strong blend of experience in their team and some youth coming through, and they're playing good footy. So we're well in the game round one, but we for whatever reason we just didn't cover the ground. We're fatigued that day on a hot day. It was just strange. But tonight was more like it for me as far as challenging a really good side, and so we'll take some real positives out of the game.
How much longer can Tom Liberatore play at this level for?
Yeah, well, we're hoping for a while. I mean, I think it was announced that Tom's clicked on or clocked on for another year post this year, and what do you have, 19 clearances or something? And he's such a I mentioned he sort of enters the octagon and he just fights like tooth and nail for the club, for his teammates. Another great example of it tonight. So hopefully it's a long time to come, Josh, but we'll wait and see. Thanks, everyone.